What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel, and we have some breaking news for you. We're about to sign a new striker.
No, I hate you. Don't even do that.
Nah, I'm playing. I'm only playing. I'm trying to find some positive in.
And of course, he didn't mute the.
Of course. Apologies for that. But no, the news of what's just broken is that Aubameyang will be returning back to Arsenal. The deal has broken down between him and Barcelona, and I'm going to go to James for the full breakdown and the full story on it, and then we'll discuss it. It looks like Aubameyang will be returning back to London. It's due to the salary breakdown over the salary request and the money there. So let's go to James. James, talk to me.
Well, yeah, the tweet from David Ornstein says that talks between Barcelona and Arsenal broken down over a salary. 32-year-old returning to London from what was said to be a family trip to Barcelona. Unless Barcelona find major money, then the deal is off.
There's loads of things to discuss here, because I know you want to talk about is the pursuit for a striker now officially over, considering that Aubameyang will be returning.
That's my biggest takeaway from this, but there's
Okay, so let's go into it. Do you generally believe that? And obviously, he's on big wages, 300 reportedly, 1,000 a week, of 3 to 350. Is that an excuse then for the board or the club to say, you know what, we can't afford to be forking out, I don't know what's reported, 75 million for Isak or money on a new striker? But does that mean it's really over? Because is Aubameyang even going to play? Is Arteta going to play Aubameyang regardless of him coming back? Is he going to have to make peace with Aubameyang? He's going to have to if we're not going to sign a striker and we have Aubameyang still on our books. It only makes sense. Let's start with that. Do you generally believe then it's the pursuit for a new striker?
It only throws up more problems for Arsenal, because what does this news mean? You know, and I mean quite literally. You know, when Edu and Arteta in their office, because they'll be in an office today, they'll be working on trying to do whatever they can do. When they get that news from Barcelona that, you know, we are not going to find an agreement on salary, I'm not joking. Do they put the phones down and go, well, that's it then? You know, we can't take on another big wage for another player. We can't, you know, have this guy here and not use him in some way. Do they just decide that that's it until Aubameyang's moved on? And we know in Nketiah that's unlikely to happen, although I think Newcastle's pursuit of Ekitike has died, so maybe Nketiah could still be on the move. I just wonder whether that kills it all for them. It does for me. I've been quite kind of held back on these streams because I don't know anything, so I'm trying to go with the facts. But something in me said that Arsenal would do something today.
Yeah.
I just felt with all the outgoings there was no way they leave themselves that short. I could see the Kroenkes not sanctioning deals. I could see Edu being incompetent in the market, not getting it done. But I couldn't see Arteta being genuinely happy going into the squad with what we've got at the moment. That included Aubameyang being at Barcelona. Now that's not an option. Well, it's not completely not an option. I've got so much to say on this.
Yeah.
Let me just try and be a bit more brief about it. Arteta will decide whether he wants to reintegrate him, and I think that's a conversation we're going to have in a sec. But I also don't think this is completely done. I think on deadline day you see a lot of this coming and going. You know, these deals happen so quickly that the kind of doubts creep in, they don't agree on this, and then another target doesn't become available, so they go back again. Ousmane Dembele was he was on the brink of PSG, Man United wanted him, then they didn't, then he was offered to Arsenal, so maybe Barcelona frustrated they're not be able to get him off the books. So there's still a lot of time, and I actually don't think this is completely done.
Okay. Can I question you on something quickly, just in the fact that where do you think the salary breakdown happened? Because it's clear that Aubameyang was happy to take a pay cut on for this. He clearly wants to play. He's aware he's been completely exiled and frozen out of Arsenal Football Club, obviously being sent to play with the youngsters, not going on the Dubai trip with the team. So he seemed very keen to, again, like I said, take a pay cut and be integrated into the Barcelona side. So is it more from, what do you think? Do you think Barcelona saying you're not taking enough of a pay cut, or do you think it's the club Arsenal saying, well, you know, where do you think that salary breakdown happened? That's kind of what
I can't.
We don't know.
I can't comment. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't want to be speculating on whether, you know, Aubameyang wasn't happy or Arsenal weren't happy or whatever. I've got no idea. But the one thing I do think is, I think with La Liga the laws are very strict in terms of, it's not so much caps, but I think it's kind of limits. and there's only so far you can go when it comes to wage expenditure. It's the reason they lost Lionel Messi. Can you believe it? And they've spent recklessly on wages over the last 5-6 years. And I think they're in a position where you think they signed up Ferran Torres, but he was a signing for like a week or something before they even registered him. They've now done Adama Traore. We've been hearing that it's about getting Dembele out the door for them to sign Aubameyang. And I don't think that was about making space in the squad. I think it was about making space financially to accommodate for Aubameyang.
And it made sense. It made sense. Sorry, just there quickly. Aubameyang on the left, Ferran Torres in the false 9 position, and Adama Traore on the right. Like it made sense for that 3 to happen. But
I mean, maybe it didn't make sense to me, if I'm honest. I think only one of them is a signing that makes sense for me for Barcelona. I thought Aubameyang and Traore were strange fits. I was happy for Aubameyang. I think he scored a lot of goals out there. But it did seem a weird deal. It did seem weird that Xavi was trying to get those deals over the line. But what I was going to say, and it's escaped my mind now, that I think a Barca and Arsenal would have had a very good idea of what the wage structure might have looked like, only as doubts have crept in about Dembele's ability to move on. You know, Barcelona having to go back and go, well, we can't do it at this because we've still got Ousmane Dembele on the books, and that's where I think it gets tricky. So
is that why you think it's not done? This could potentially. We don't know if it.
I don't know. I'm speculating. But yeah, Dembele was on the brink, wasn't he? And now it's all gone very quiet. You know, I did a breaking news on this channel yesterday. You know, this has gone over 24 hours now. So it does surprise me it's gone this far, because if there's one thing you can agree pretty quickly with player is, well, I guess that's the thing, it's not agreeing with the player, they're trying to agree with Arsenal how much they cover. And I know that there was no loan fee involved, no obligation to buy or whatever. So yeah, I don't know, I think it's broken down simply because they couldn't get Dembele's wages off the books. Okay, or at least not yet anyway. That
makes sense. And before we go into, we're going to obviously talk about Arteta and how he has to kind of look into reintegrating Aubameyang back into this Arsenal side. He may not. Let's just quickly talk about, I want to know your just feelings for Aubameyang in a sense, because for me, I feel for Aubameyang. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Aubameyang. I've really liked him. I've met him. I think he's a quality player. I know we haven't seen the heights that he used to reach a few seasons back for us, but there's still a good player in him. I've been a striker. I'm a striker. I understand that you don't just lose your ability to score. And at 32 years of age, I feel this Barcelona deal made sense for him as well. Like, it's a big club. He's old. He's an old player, but he could reignite. You know what he would have scored a lot of goals in the league, I would have thought as well. And he could reignite that. You know, that form that he had a few seasons back. So it made sense for him. That's why I feel a bit aggrieved for him personally. Now having to, obviously it could change, but having to come back and now, I guess, come to a toxic, in his sense, Arsenal Football Club right now, because he's got to try and find his way back in to the Arsenal side, whether Arteta wants that or not. I think it's going to be a time where Arteta's going to have to make peace with Aubameyang. I'm going to be very intrigued to see how that happens and how that unfolds. Thoughts on Aubameyang for you and the situation? Do you feel any way towards him?
Like, I was on board with a lot of decisions that were made here. Aubameyang being dropped out of the squad for a little bit. And actually being dropped out of the first 11, he wasn't playing well at all. Yeah. So I didn't really have a problem. And Lacazette, for the first month at least, kind of did well coming in. I also didn't have a problem with the stripping of the captaincy, because I think it set a standard. I think people were being very kind of dramatic about how big a statement that was in terms of, you know, the insult to Aubameyang. You know, he's still an Arsenal player, he's still getting his full wage. You know, he's not been chucked out. He's just not the captain. He's not the leader of this group in Arteta's eyes. So okay, cool, that happened, and I was fine with it. Then they announced he wouldn't play till after AFCON. They were going to give him a break till AFCON, and then see where we go from there. So I didn't have a problem with that, because I thought if he's going to leave, then we've got January to know. But he needs the break. He's had a lot going on in the last year, personally and on the pitch as well. And I thought that's fine, okay. But now Arteta's in this really difficult situation where, despite Aubameyang not being at his best, he's still an option, and he's still a better option than most we've got available at the club. And he's still on, you know, good money, and from a financial perspective as well, you want to get some reward out of that. I think he'll be under immense pressure to try and reintegrate him, and I don't know if there's a conversation to be had where Arteta's gone, I've made mistakes, you've made mistakes, in the summer we'll address this, we're not going to be friends, but you know, you want to play football,
every
and
player
you want
wants
to
to
put
play.
yourself in the market for clubs, and I want to get top 4, so let's make this work.
Yeah,
maybe that. But it's another turn in what's been just a farcical January transfer window, and one that for me kills any hope of us actually bringing someone in today. When Aubameyang was, you know, set to sign for Barcelona, and that was the feeling we had just 30 minutes ago, I was thinking, they are not going to do that, tweet the way they've been doing, the stories on Instagram, all that. They're not going to be doing that if they weren't confident they could do something. But now it's not even just a case of can they do it, it's even if they could, where's the room financially, what's the
give really?
What's the give for the take? Yes, exactly it.
Callum Chambers, 2 million. Not enough give.
See, I thought that and all the other deals were making room for midfielders, and you know, everyone kept telling us Arsenal desperate to bring in a midfielder in January, and the strike thing will be left to the summer. Then the Aubameyang thing happens, and it accelerates the need for a striker. And as we stand, when we're close to doing neither. Now look, again, still time in the day, 7 hours. And there's still a possibility, and I think there'll be more twists throughout this next 7 hours. But you know, guys, thanks for jumping on and chatting with us. And I see the comments and listening, engaging, and we appreciate it. But don't expect, unless something dramatic changes, a particularly different tone from this. We're all very, very frustrated, because there's so many angles to this. Not giving ourselves the best chance at top 4, even if we bring players in, even if we bring all the players in we want, not doing it early enough so that we could have saved our chances at a cup competition.
That's the main one for me.
And then this farcical mess we're in, where our former club captain, who our current manager gave a massive deal to, is sort of being flogged out to any European side that will take him. It's very messy.
There's a lot of factors, and
we'll see.
We'll see. We'll go into comments in a second, but I like that you just speak how you spoke there about the tone of these lies. Because,
man.
Because last night I had that feeling, and it was mainly due to obviously the preparation of this window for Arsenal has been abysmal, it's been shocking, and we've kind of been strung along as fans and been left down to the last few hours or couple hours of the day to bring someone in.
Well, there's two kind of other layers to this.
Go on.
Firstly, if Arteta has just decided he is not playing for the club, then it won't change Arsenal's pursuit too much. So if Arteta decides whether he's here or not, he's not playing. It doesn't change our need for a striker.
Right.
Now, I mentioned whether financially that was doable. I don't know. I bloody hope it is, because we have very rich owners and we're a very rich club. But
that's changed now, that dynamic though.
If he plans not to use him, then that doesn't change whether Arteta's saying to Edu, I want a striker. The other thing is Nketiah. He has been kind of, 1 minute he's close to Newcastle, 1 minute he's not, 1 minute they're in advanced talks, 1 minute they're going for Ekitike, and now the Ekitike stuff I think isn't happening, and that might prove an option. So I don't know. I think keep an eye.
Keep an eye, because obviously we saw Arteta head over to USA and meet the Cronkays, and that conversation, I wish I was a fly on the wall, because I'd love to hear what Arteta was saying to the Cronkays, and was it, I need this amount of money, or no way?
No,
don't do that. Don't do that. What?
It's a deleted tweet from a news aggregator, and I won't go into the detail, but this is exactly what I mean already. And it's a deleted tweet, so it might be an error. But there were suggestions here that a medical is still.
Yeah, someone.
So here
someone in the comments. Big up, someone in the comments. I did hear someone say.
Yeah, I've got it here now.
They're doing a medical at 5 o'clock.
Gerard Romero says sources work at the hospital say that Aubameyang's medical is still scheduled to take place. I said don't rule it out. I said don't rule it out.
You're in the know.
Nah, because do you know the wave of hate you've invited now?
I'm joking, I'm playing.
Oh my word.
You're right though, what you said,
Nah,
don't rule out. But listen, we don't know. We obviously, David Austin, we're going off that.
And Romano's apparently said on Twitch that Alexander Isak is staying at Real Sociedad. I mean...
this window is phenomenal. I've got a quick super chat from Daniel Chambers says... Arteta is still a disgrace of a manager. He has to swallow his pride and bring Auba in if his deal to Barca collapses or collapse. I back the players and the club, not him. I guess it's kind of we're looking at that as well. If Aubameyang has to return, it's only right. I obviously spoke with the fans on Arsenal fans as well about should he be reintegrated back into the side. And I would keep speaking about. There's one fan that kind of said we need unity in this Arsenal side, especially if we're going to go for the top four. We need everyone. And then I saw people leave like Callum Chambers. I saw Eddie Nketiah being linked to other clubs. We've seen Aubameyang. Obviously, we don't know if he's going to Barcelona. We saw Kolasinac leave. We saw all these players leave. Pablo Mari, and I was like, wow. Unity, yes, but now I'm seeing so many exits. It only makes sense that they rather have a plan B when we're going to see signings, because I think it'd be absolutely ludicrous. I spoke about this in every show, to not have a backup to bring in players. And for it, we'll have to find out and see by the end of this window.
Do you think he'll be reintegrated if he stays?
Good question. Do I think he'll be reintegrated? I don't think he will, but I think he has to, in a sense of what if we're left with, and what you said there, because of the wages are still being paid, we won't get a striker. We'll be left with Eddie Nketiah, like I keep mentioning it.
Yeah, man. At this point, we just keep repeating ourselves. But we have to,
because what else is there to say? And like, I would like to see Aubameyang back in the side. I really would. I feel like I keep talking about unity is key, and I want to see him back together. But I want to see Aubameyang playing for this team.
If Arteta's to bring Aubameyang back in and decide, yeah, cool, you're going to be my number 9 for the rest of the season, which is kind of the stance he took at the beginning of the season, then we need Arteta to deploy Aubameyang in a role that suits him far better. He needs to be played off the shoulder, allowed to get into the penalty area, allowed to let his instinct kind of dictate where he goes. Now, I like to hope, I know this whole thing is kind of a little bit of a, how do I put it? It's just all a little bit of a mess, and he might feel really down that this move to Barcelona isn't happening. But if he were to come back, I'd like to think almost the fact he nearly went to Barcelona, the fact that we were all kind of like, I think Arsenal fans had a bit of a reality check today. We went, oh my God, do we really want to lose Aubameyang? Like, I know everything that's gone on, but do we really want to lose him and be left with what we've got? I just wonder whether that might just change the narrative a little bit, and he might come with a bit of confidence. And I don't know, sometimes, you know what football's like, so much of his mentality and environment and everything.
I was just about to touch on that. I think, yes, he may be reintegrated, but will I see the Aubameyang of old and hit the heights that we've seen him before? Probably not. I think he'll be going through so much mentally, confidence-wise. We know Aubameyang's a confidence player, and he'd be struggling, being exiled out of the club, not being able to go on the 2-week break in Dubai, to see I can't even picture Arteta sitting him down like we said before and saying, do you know what? My bad, because I don't see this happening at all. I messed up. I need you in the side. I don't really see that conversation happening, and I don't think Aubameyang, knowing his personality, meeting him, I don't think he's the guy to be like, okay, fair enough, I'm back in. Let's get hit fire and form. I don't see that happening. I know from a player's perspective, it's going to be difficult. You had your capacity stripped. Like you said, I don't think it's as big a deal as we made it out, but for him, walking back into a changing room with the leadership squad, the leadership group, and all of that, and having the youngsters looking at him.
Terrible band.
The leadership squad. I think it would affect him, so I don't think we'll see the Aubameyang that I think the fans want to see, and like you said there, Arteta would have to change his style of play to kind of suit Aubameyang, to get the Aubameyang of old. And is he really going to do that if he's just saying, listen, we've kind of messed up here, we need you a little bit, it's a bit too late. What hell's the saying? Too little, too late. Thank you very much. And that's it. I'm going to read the super chat here from Patchman. Says, after humiliating Aubameyang, anyone that thinks Aubameyang will be fully up for it, it is fooling themselves. Auba will have suitors in summer regardless. Suitors, I'm assuming, is for other clubs, I guess. And that's why for me as well, that the Aubameyang to Barcelona loan kind of made sense for me as well. Done really well, got some goals, his value would go up. I think it made sense for Arsenal to kind of move on from that for a good fee for Aubameyang. I think that he might have had that in the back of his mind as well, going to Barcelona. But now, it's not ruled out. But from what we've heard from David Ornstein, he might be returning. But we'll wait till 5 p.m. because I've heard, and I'm speculating again, I saw online that it's 5 p.m. is his medical, so, and I've seen it here actually. Kyle B says Aubameyang's flag of Gabriel medicals is scheduled at 5 p.m. in Barcelona via Gerard Romero.
So yeah, we'll see. Listen, it's not a great update. I mean, it depends where you sit on this. If you want if you want Aubameyang reintegrated and you think we've got a world-class striker in our ranks and we just need to start getting the best out of him, then you might be delighted. This might be the best thing that could happen to Arsenal. This might be the best striking option we could have for the rest of the season. And he's already on the books and he's already there. And it's about Arteta swallowing his pride and getting it done. You know, getting some sort of agreement between them for the rest of the season. You know, then you'll be very happy. For me, it's disappointing because I just don't see relationships being mended. And I wanted for him to get his move to Barcelona because I like Aubameyang, and I wanted Arsenal to get that room in the squad to bring in a striker. But that's looking incredibly unlikely. But let's see.
Yeah.
As I said, I will say this for deadline day. There've been a lot of twists already. I mean, you look at Dele Alli now joining Everton. On the day that they, you know, announced Donny van der Beek and Frank Lampard,
Ramsey going to
Rangers. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't rule anything out. And you know, United, Spurs, West Ham, Arsenal. I think there'll be a twist or two for some of those clubs. So let's see what happens because it's our rivals as well who are trying to get stuff done. So. And that's let's see. I'm not even looking at the camera, guys. So I just keep refreshing to see what's going on. But
just before we wrap up, there's a quick super chat here as well. Arsenal 13180 says can't wait for an away overpriced panic buy. Now we were speaking about this just quickly off camera.
Sorry. So he means can't wait for a way overpriced.
Yeah.
Panic buy.
And we were discussing this. This is what it's kind of leading up to at the moment with Arsenal Football Club, or no signings. Or no signs. Whether it's either going to be a panic buy or no one through the door. But that's the beauty of the deadline day. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
I mean, if they were to panic, then again, this is another bit of news they might panic for. The fact that Arsenal fans might be thinking this has been such a mess. Yeah. And it might be a PR panic buy. But I don't know. Listen, I'm not hopeful. But stay tuned in.
KD with the last super chat. Latest Auba deal broke down due to salary, which we've just spoken about in this show here. Guys, this is what deadline day is all about. We came in saying, you know, Aubameyang will be returning to then find out he may not be. This is what's happening, and we're doing it as the news breaks, so expect many more of these lives. Do hit a like if you like this video as well, and we'll be updating you throughout the day. There's a sort of super chat before we go as well from Nab Hussad said, Saliba, I'm assuming he's meant there. Ozil, thank you. Guendouzi, Maitland-Niles, Auba. How many more players is Arteta going to ruin? This seems to be an ongoing pattern with this guy. He ruined it.
I don't know about the details of any of them because one could argue that the attitude was wrong for some. One could argue that Saliba's loan is more beneficial to him and Arsenal in the long term. You know, I've heard all those arguments, but what I would say is it's not a great pattern. It's not a great pattern, especially when Guendouzi, Saliba are absolutely tearing it apart in France. They're doing brilliantly. But again, I reserve judgment on that too much. It just doesn't look good.
Okay. Right. Well, anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'm sure we'll see you
in 10 minutes when Aubameyang signs his contract for Barcelona.
Take care. We'll see you in a bit. Peace.